Imagine stepping into a community where, well, almost every detail of life, from how many bowls you can own, maybe, to exactly how a donated fund is spent. It's
Yeah.
all governed by these ancient, very precise rules.
Mhm.
That's where we're headed today. We're undertaking a deep dive into the fascinating Nissaggiya rules.
Right.
These are a specific category of ethical guidelines that, well, they govern the lives of early Buddhist nuns.
And our insights today, they're coming straight from the source texts, these ancient records.
Exactly. And they reveal the often surprising origins and specific applications of these monastic codes.
Yeah, the stories behind them are quite something.
Our mission, really, it's to uncover the practical wisdom and, honestly, the very human stories embedded in these regulations that might seem a bit archaic at first glance.
Give you a sort of shortcut maybe to understanding the daily lives and the ethical puzzles these nuns faced thousands of years ago.
Okay, so let's unpack this a bit. Our journey starts in Savatthi, at the Jetavana Monastery. This is a place the Buddha himself resided.
Sounds quite idyllic, doesn't it? A perfect spiritual retreat.
You'd think so. But even there, communal living, it just brought its own set of challenges,
Yes.
which demanded very specific rules to, well, maintain harmony. Like, for instance, the very first rule we're looking at, Nissaggiya 1.
Oh, yes, the bowls.
It came about because of, well, too many bulls. We read about this group, often called the Group of Six Nuns,
Ugh.
at Bhikkhunīs.
Right.
They started accumulating lots of bowls.
And it's quite striking how quickly that got noticed, isn't it? The texts say the lay community picked up on it immediately.
Yeah, they started whispering, suggesting the nuns were running a bull trade, or, like you said, even setting up a shop.
Which must have looked terrible. You raised a good point earlier. Why do you think that appearance of sort of commercial activity undermined their spiritual mission so much?
Well, I think it really hits at the core idea of monastic life, doesn't it?
Mm.
Austerity, detachment. So for the lay supporters, seeing nuns hoarding possessions, even something as basic as bowls, probably felt like a direct contradiction.
Yeah, it clashes with the whole ideal.
It seems like they were worried about the optics and the public perception almost as much as the act itself. And it led straight to this rule.
A very specific rule against accumulating bowls.
And the texts are really not vague here. They even define what an acceptable bowl is, iron or clay.
And the sizes.
Yeah.
Precise sizes.
Right down to the volume of rice. A large bowl holds 1.5 seers, medium 1 seer, small half a seer.
Anything bigger or smaller, or just having too many that weren't designated or stipulated for use?
Without accumulation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a powerful example of how fast that public trust can disappear if the community isn't seen living by its values.
Mm-hmm.
The rule wasn't just about controlling greed, maybe, but about protecting the reputation, the spiritual integrity of the whole order, especially in the eyes of those supporting them.
And the consequence for breaking this wasn't minor either.
No, not at all.
An offense like this, it incurred a Nissaggiya.
Which means
It means the extra bowl, it had to be forfeited, given up, and then a confession had to be made.
And the forfeiture process itself sounds incredibly formal.
Oh, it was. The text says the bowl became forfeited at dawn. Then it had to be given up to the whole community, the Sangha, or maybe a smaller group, or even just one other nun.
So very public.
Very. The nun had to formally approach, adjust her robe, bow down, kneel, and then declare, "This bowl of mine, past the night, is forfeited. I forfeit it to the Sangha."
A specific formula.
Yes, and only after that very public act of giving it up could she confess the offense itself. It's all about transparency and accountability, really.
Makes sense. You have to deal with the object first, then the action.
So if hoarding bowls was a no-go, what about, say, tricky personal agreements?
This brings us to Thilananda Bhikkhuni again.
Our friend Thilananda, she seems to pop up quite a bit, doesn't she? This time she shows how even a simple exchange could become a reason for a new rule.
What happened here?
In this case, she'd exchanged a robe with another nun. Seems simple enough.
Okay, a swap.
But then later, she apparently changed her mind and demanded her original robe back.
Oh, dear.
And quite forcefully, too. The text quotes her saying, "What's yours is yours, what's mine is mine, bring me mine, take back yours."
Wow, pretty direct.
And then she just took it back, forcibly.
Okay, that's not just changing your mind.
No. Unsurprisingly, this caused quite a stir, and other nuns complained.
You can see why. It really highlights how important trust and maybe the finality of agreements must have been within the order.
Right.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, like you said, this rule isn't just about a piece of cloth. It's about honoring your word, honoring commitments, maintaining harmony. Once you make an exchange, that's it. It's binding.
Otherwise, chaos?
It prevents disputes, ensures everyone respects each other's things such as they are, keeps the peace.
You know, when I first read this, it just seemed like, oh, a simple swap gone wrong. But thinking about it more, this act of, like, repossessing after you've agreed to an exchange, it touches on something much bigger.
Like the foundation of trust.
Exactly. Trust and generosity within the community. So a rule had to be made.
Nissaggiya 3.
Correct. If a nun, after exchanging a robe, tries to reclaim it herself or gets someone else to reclaim it using that specific phrase.
What's yours is yours, what's mine is mine.
Bring me mine, take back yours. If she takes it herself, that's a Nissaggiya. The robe must be forfeited.
And if she orders someone else to do it?
That's a Dukkaya, a lesser offense, just for the ordering part. But the main offense, the Nissaggiya, still applies if the robe actually gets taken back.
I see. And it applies to any kind of monastic robe.
Yes. The texts mention any of the 6 kinds, so no loopholes there.
It really feels like Thilananda was their resident rule generator, doesn't it?
It kind of does. Seems like every time you turn a page, she's inspiring another regulation.
Especially around donations and resources.
Yes, her actions seem to frequently provide the spark for new rules about donor intent. Let's delve into that impact.
It's quite something, and it does raise an interesting question for me. Why were they so strict about nuns changing their requests? Even for something like medicine, which seems pretty essential. What do you think that tells us about their, ethical framework, especially regarding their lay supporters?
That's a really sharp point. I think it shows they felt this deep ethical duty not to burden or inconvenience the people supporting them.
Right, the lay followers were making an effort, offering generosity.
Exactly. So these rules seem designed to discourage, maybe, fickleness, or just making life difficult for donors.
Making sure that generosity is treated with real respect, recognizing the effort involved.
Definitely. And we see this so clearly in these 2 related incidents, the ghee to oil swap cases.
Ah, yes, Nissaggiya 4 and 5.
In the first one, story 4, Thilananda was sick. A lay follower kindly asks what she needs. She says ghee.
Okay, simple enough.
The follower brings the ghee. But then Thilananda says, actually, I need oil.
Oh, no.
And this caused the poor follower trouble with the merchant, who, understandably, wouldn't exchange it. The follower complained.
You can imagine. I bought what you asked for.
Right. So that led to Rule 4. You can't ask for one thing and then ask for something different.
Makes sense. Respect the initial request and the effort.
Then, in a similar but maybe even more telling incident, Rule 5, Thilananda is sick again.
Seems she was often unwell, or perhaps just particular.
Perhaps. A lay follower offers to deposit money with a merchant specifically for her needs.
Okay, a fund is set up.
Thilananda then sends a female trainee, a sikhamana, to go get oil using this money.
All right.
The trainee brings the oil back. And Thilananda again changes her mind, says she wants ghee instead.
Oh, come on.
The trainee tries to exchange the oil, merchant refuses again, and the text explicitly says the young trainee started crying.
Oh, that's awful. You can picture the scene.
Yeah. Other nuns saw this, heard about it, and complained. So Rule 5 came about.
Which forbids?
Forbids having one item procured for you, and then having a different item procured instead. Similar principle to Rule 4, but covering procurement through an agent or using deposited funds.
It's all about respecting the initial intent and really not causing hassle and distress for others.
Precisely. The giver's effort and intention are paramount.
Now, sticking with Thilananda and resources, let's look at the robe mislabeling debacle. This one gets into some quite specific details of monastic life, doesn't it?
It really does. It involves the timing of robe donations. So a group of nuns finish their rainy season retreat out in the villages. They come back to Sabathi looking, the text says, quite austere.
Understandable after a retreat period.
Lay followers see them, feel compassion, and donate what were called untimely robes, sakala kavara, to the whole community.
And untimely here means robes given outside of a specific allowed period.
Exactly. It refers to robes received outside the main robe season. For instance, if the special kahina period wasn't being observed, or maybe robes specifically designated by the donor as untimely, there were rules about when robes could be received and processed easily.
Right. The kahina period is key here. It's that special time, usually post-rains retreat, when monastics could get and make new robes, and some rules were relaxed.
Correct. So what does Salanida do? She declares that the kahina was observed even though it wasn't, which would make these untimely robes seem like timely robes, the kuvara.
Ah, so she's basically relabeling them to bypass the rules.
Precisely. And then she proceeded to distribute them as if they were timely. The lay followers who had donated them specifically as untimely robes were understandably quite upset by this misrepresentation.
Because their specific intention was ignored and the community rules were bent.
Yes. This wasn't just about the cloth itself. It was about deliberately misrepresenting the status of a donation to get around the established community guidelines.
It seems less about the robes and more about, well, honesty and fairness in how communal resources were handled.
Totally. It's clear this was seen as a deliberate misdirection, undermining the system.
And what really stands out here again is the precision. How carefully they managed resources and the ethical framework behind it all. These rules paint a picture of a really well-defined system for handling clothing, donations, managing things throughout the year, all designed to prevent abuse and ensure things were fair.
You know, perhaps the most comprehensive set of rules we'll look at today really zeroes in on the misuse of designated funds, particularly diverting them from medicine.
Ah, yes, this theme comes up repeatedly.
It does. This series of rules, Nissaggiya 6 through 10, tackles a recurring problem. Donations given for one specific thing.
Like fixing a building, or buying robes, or getting food.
Being used for something else entirely. And yes, Thilanandi is once again right in the thick of it for several of these.
It's fascinating, isn't it? The consistent emphasis on what you call the sacredness of the donor's intent. It doesn't seem to matter who the intended recipient was, an individual nun, the whole Sangha, a specific group within it.
Or how the funds were acquired. Right, whether they were just deposited with someone or if the nuns actively solicited them.
If the funds were earmarked for purpose A, using them for purpose B was a serious ethical breach, period.
Even if purpose B was medicine, something seemingly vital.
Exactly. It wasn't just about the practical use of money, was it? It seems more about maintaining that fundamental trust between the monastic order and the lay supporters who kept it going.
This really hammers home the importance of transparency and accountability, doesn't it? Especially when you're relying on people's generosity.
Absolutely.
It underlines how vital it was to use resources exactly as intended. Take, for example, Nissaggiya 10. Thalananda's own residence, her vihara, was falling apart.
Okay.
Lay followers collected funds specifically for its renovation. But Thilananda not only used those funds.
You get something else.
She also personally solicited additional support for the repairs, and then used all the money, the original collection, and the extra she solicited to buy medicine instead.
Wow. So, diverting designated funds and potentially misrepresenting why she needed more support?
Seems like it, and people complained. Rightly so.
And this principle applied broadly, didn't it? Across different scenarios.
Oh, yes. Rules 6 and 7 deal with funds collected for robes for the entire Sangha, deposited with a merchant.
And what happened?
In Nissaggiya 6, the nuns just used the robe funds to buy medicine instead.
Okay, direct diversion.
In Nissaggiya 7, similar situation, but like with her residence, they also personally solicited additional funds, ostensibly for robes, and then used all of it for medicine.
Doubling down on the diversion, essentially.
Then you have Nissaggiya 8 and 9.
Yeah.
This time, a group of lay followers noticed a specific group of nuns were struggling with their porridge supply.
So a targeted donation for food.
Yes, they collected and deposited funds specifically for rice to make porridge for that group of nuns.
Very specific intent.
Very. In Nissaggiya 8, those nuns used the porridge funds to buy medicine.
Again with the medicine.
And in Nissaggiya 9, same thing, but again, they also personally solicited additional funds supposedly for porridge and then spent it all on medicine.
It's a clear pattern, regardless of the item, the recipient, or the solicitation method.
Using designated funds for something else, especially medicine in these cases, was in Nissaggiya Pachitya, a serious breach requiring forfeiture and confession.
It really makes you wonder, like you said, how many times this kind of thing must have happened for them to spell it out so explicitly across so many different rules.
It does. So stepping back from all these specific cases, these detailed rules, the stories, what are the big takeaways for you? What does this tell us about the ethical world of this ancient monastic life?
Well, stepping back, what truly stands out isn't just that they had rules. It's how incredibly granular and responsive they were.
Responsive.
Yeah, responsive to actual situations. These ancient regulations, they're way more than just dry disciplinary codes. They feel like a genuine blueprint for community living. They emphasize transparency, Really strict accountability, managing resources respectfully, and over again, the critical importance of maintaining public trust.
They weren't just handed down from on high then.
Doesn't feel like it. They seem like a living, evolving code, forged right there in the daily friction of human interaction, often driven by very relatable human mistakes or weaknesses.
Like Tholananda's recurring appearances.
Exactly. Those incidents, especially involving her, show how even things that might seem like minor ethical slips were taken seriously. They had to be addressed to protect the integrity of the whole spiritual path, and crucially, the relationship with the lay community that supported them.
It shows a deep understanding of human nature, maybe, and the challenges of living together.
I think so. A testament to their dedication to making ethics practical, something lived day to day.
And what's really important for you, listening, to take away is that these aren't just, dusty historical footnotes.
Not at all.
They speak to really universal principles. Trust, responsibility, how we manage shared resources ethically. These resonate just as much today.
In our personal lives and organizations we're part of, even in public institutions, the fundamentals are the same.
So we've just taken a deep dive into these Nissaggiya rules. We've explored specific cases from accumulating bowls to that critical issue of honoring donor intent.
All brought to life through the very real incidents that led to the rules being created.
Now, here's something to think about. How closely do you think the health and, the integrity of any community, ancient or modern, is tied to how its members stick to transparent practices?
And how much they respect the original intentions behind shared resources.
How might we take some of this ancient wisdom, this focus on clarity and trust in how resources are allocated, and apply it in our own lives, our own organizations today? Something to mull over.